Welcome to this explainer. I'm absolutely pumped to have you here today. We are going to unpack the completely wild viral lore of the Alaska Black Pyramid. It's this massive, alleged underground structure that has just entirely captivated internet communities, conspiracy theorists, and mystery lovers for years. Throughout this explainer, we're going to rely strictly on the source material, compiling these viral claims, breaking down the timeline, the rumors, and the wild stories of an unidentified structure buried deep beneath the freezing mountains of Alaska. We've got a lot of fascinating ground to cover, so let's just jump right in. All right, so let's dive into this massive claim straight from the source material and explore a mystery that suggests something enormous, something literally world-changing is buried beneath the ice. The central premise of all these rumors is that the US government is hiding a structure so powerful it completely defies our current understanding of technology. And the strangest part of the lore? The persistent claim that this structure wasn't built by humans. Section 1. The Frozen Secret. To understand exactly how this wild rumor started, we need to peel back the very first layer of this mystery. Leaked stories from military workers claim they stumbled upon a perfectly shaped black structure. But we aren't talking about some small ruin here. The lore insists that this subterranean pyramid is far, far larger than the Great Pyramid of Egypt. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. We're talking about an architectural anomaly bigger than one of the ancient wonders of the world, supposedly sitting entirely undetected under a mountain of Alaskan ice. Moving right along to Section 2, Cold War Discovery. Now, this story didn't just pop up overnight. It maps out a whole chain of alleged events, taking us from early Cold War rumors all the way to modern-day anomalies. It supposedly kicked off back during the Cold War. Workers and military personnel stationed up in Alaska started hearing whispers about a highly classified underground excavation. At first, everyone just figured it was another secret missile facility, which was pretty much par for the course back then. But as the timeline rolls through the 90s and into today, the leaks get significantly weirder. According to those early leaks, military scientists were literally floored by what they found. They discovered the structure was supposedly made out of this unidentified, completely unknown black material. And the rumors really doubled down on the fact that this stuff was impossibly dense, way, way stronger than steel. It wasn't stone, it wasn't a standard metal. Actually, scratch that, it wasn't like anything the excavators had ever seen before. And to make things even creepier, former insiders claimed this massive thing had absolutely zero doors, no writing, no symbols, and honestly no logical explanation for how it even got there. Just a giant, impenetrable black face. You can imagine the utter confusion of allegedly digging up this perfect, impossibly huge geometric shape that gives you absolutely zero clues about who built it or what it's for. So a huge piece of these early rumors revolves around this strange, anomalous energy. The stories say that anytime researchers or military folks got too close to the pyramid, their electronic equipment would just inexplicably fail. And we're not talking about a drained flashlight battery here. The lore describes this intense, localized field where standard human technology simply refused to operate, which, of course, just fueled the fire that this was no ordinary building. Naturally, if you find something of this magnitude, it's going to trigger a massive response, right? Conspiracy theories absolutely exploded across America when locals started claiming the whole area went into total lockdown. We're talking about huge regions suddenly becoming heavily restricted. Satellite imagery around the site reportedly got blurred out or just vanished entirely. Civilians were firmly warned to keep out, and military planes were constantly seen patrolling the mountains above the supposed site. Which brings us to Section 3, the 1990s activation incident. Now we're hitting the most terrifying rumor of the whole bunch, taking this from a passive architectural discovery to a full-blown alleged disaster. A former contractor supposedly came forward claiming that researchers accidentally turned something on inside the structure. And the results? Absolutely catastrophic. The story goes that a massive cascading disaster hit, security systems completely crashed, and communications went totally dark. And worst of all, workers allegedly started disappearing. It supposedly got so bad that several underground tunnels leading down to the pyramid had to be permanently sealed shut. No official report was ever released, but locals definitely noted a huge spike in military convoys in the aftermath. What's really wild are the whistleblower claims about what exactly got activated. The story suggests the pyramid started generating massive amounts of energy, but with no visible power source whatsoever. Like, none. One former radio operator even claimed the structure gave off these intense, low-frequency vibrations that you could literally feel miles away through the ground. Other insiders talked about hearing this deep, resonant humming sound, echoing up from beneath the ice at night. Section 4. Whistleblowers and radio leaks. This whole legend might have just stayed buried under the ice if it wasn't for what happened next. Years later, the story got shoved right back into the national spotlight by a super abrupt late-night radio leak. An anonymous caller who claimed to be a former military engineer with first-hand knowledge of the site delivered what is arguably the absolute peak of this internet lore. They said the Black Pyramid was, quote, not a building, but a machine. No way, right? That completely flips the script. Suddenly, we're not talking about an ancient tomb or a bunker anymore. We're talking about something active, mechanical, and potentially incredibly dangerous. But right as a caller was about to spill the details on this machine, the broadcast abruptly cuts to static. Literally, just dead air. The radio station eventually came out and blamed it on some mysterious phone connection failure. But as you can probably guess, internet communities completely lost their minds over this overnight. For believers, getting cut off like that was all the proof they needed that somebody was actively pulling the plug to silence the truth about what's out there in the Alaskan wilderness. And finally, Section 5, Myth or Reality. So, where do all these persistent rumors leave us today? Because despite the massive internet following, the government completely denies this pyramid exists. Yet the source material points out that unverified stories just keep trickling out of Alaska. You've got pilots to this day claiming their compasses go completely haywire when flying near certain remote mountain areas. Local hunters are still talking about feeling weird, deep vibrations under their feet. And maybe the most intriguing part? Satellite researchers claim that during certain seasons, you can actually spot these highly unusual, perfectly geometric shadows lurking right beneath the melting ice. So, what does this all mean for us? We're left with the ultimate question posed by the source material. Is the Alaska Black Pyramid just a viral internet myth that completely spiraled out of control? Is it a highly classified, totally terrestrial military base hidden under layers of deliberate misinformation? Or, as the believers strongly insist, is it evidence of something ancient and unexplainable that's been hiding beneath America for centuries? We might never have a confirmed answer, but if even a fraction of these stories are true, something enormous is waiting out there in the freezing cold. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. Keep asking these big questions, and I'll catch you on the next one.